Exactly.
Wanting to talk about yourself, a combination of shyness and the job, or is it one or the other, where you're sitting down for something that is meant to be revealing of who you are, how you are, and what shaped you, whatever the discomforts of that are? Is it something else, or you just don't like people knowing too much about you? You want to be careful about what people know about you, or?
That might be part of it. I actually think, and this is why I was, half serious when I told you about just run Ernie's interview again, because like I find Ernie fascinating and interesting. And even though I've been in this business for a long time and I've been so blessed to have accomplishments, I'm just like, who'd be interested? I was asked to write a book. Bob Wolf's son, Rick Wolf, who just recently passed away, a wonderful man who was a book editor. He tried to get me to write a book for years. And my same response to him was, nobody's interested in a book that I would write. And that's kind of the way
No, but that's not true, and I'll tell you why. You have to tell people what it is that you've learned, because you have accrued a great many wisdoms across 30 years of doing this in this business. Yes, you've been around some seminal sports moments, and yes, you have obviously things that people are interested about if they're basketball fans. But you've learned some things about life that make you still do the job with love. After your home burns down and all of the mementos that are in it, and those people who are loving you now probably would enjoy hearing your gratitude in the pages that show love. Like you're telling me that your job is love story, all of it. That doing it is a labor of love, that you couldn't have done it without the love of others, including your fathers, and who doesn't like to read a good love story?
It's a great point, and you're right. You're absolutely right. For example, the Marcus Thompson story. The thing I loved about that was that, first off, how important my wife was during it, and my youngest son. And specifically mentioned them because I talked about them and how they were so instrumental in getting through it all. And then all the people to thank. And I wish I could have named them all by name. I threw some of them out there.
But you were hurting. You said wobbling is the word you used.
Right.
You were hurting, and you felt the love and support of others that made it hurt less, right? Like that's
Absolutely.
I don't know what it's like to have your house burned down. I don't know what the pain of that is, or how one recovers from that, or I don't know that.
I've
All the
unfortunately
details
had
I've
to
heard
deal
you
with
share,
that.
I don't think the audience knows the details.
No, we were, my wife and I, right before the season, went to Napa Valley for a vacation with a few couples that are friends of ours, and we were flying back on a Sunday morning. It's an early flight from San Francisco, which is about an hour drive from Napa. So we had to get up about 4:30, and I shut my phone off just so I could get a couple hours sleep. And when I wake up, there's all these texts on the phone, and they were mostly from my family members, my son, my youngest son, and my brothers. And I quickly found out from my son that he was supposed to be at home, but he was staying at a beach house. And so he didn't know the damage. So I quickly called our contractor, who had been at the house all weekend because we were having work done. And I'll never forget this. I called him up and said, how bad is it? And he said, it's all gone. And that was like, we're about to get on a 6-hour flight cross country. And I tell my wife now that it's all gone. Because we didn't know. We didn't know it was just a fire in the garage or a fire here. So that was stunning. And the whole ride home, I can't even describe the different things like, what do I have to do now? What's next? And you kind of take over. You want to take over as the husband and the father. That, all right, you're going to make this right. And then you land and you go and you see it. And that's a whole different thing. Being told it's gone and then you see it and it's gone. So that was really hard. And for me, the first few days, I just tried to be as strong as I could for my wife and kids in terms of, all right, we have to do this, and this. And I called Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers' house burned down once. And I just asked him, what are you thinking? And he told me, he says, it's okay to let it go because it's going to hit you soon, because I was trying to be the man of the house. And he says, but it's going to hit you soon. And about 4 days later, I just completely lost it. But then again, you get these calls. When the news got out, I had over 500 texts the day the news got out. And it's just texts of, what can I do? And it wasn't just, hey, I hope you're okay. I mean, these were people that really wanted to do something. And I had no idea what to tell them because I'd never been in that position. But they, for me, and I told them all this, it didn't matter what they said in the text. It didn't matter. It's just that they were reaching out and you knew that they were there. And that's the part that strengthened you.
It is so incredibly stereotypically male to have your house burned down and do 4 days of how am I going to fix this instead of absorbing the emotions of you, your family, and everyone else, almost hiding in how am I going to fix this instead of grieving what has just happened immediately.
Right. And that's just the mode. And that's what I got again from my father. Everything comes back so much to my father. That's the way he would communicate.
I mistimed the animation.
But everything's gone. What do you mean? How do you?
Damn it!
I have no idea what to do. First thing I had to do was get clothes. But here's where it was different for me, and then for many people who have to deal with this. So because of the success I've had in my job, we have a beach house. And it's like an hour and a half
Shit.
from home to downtown. So instead of having to go into a motel and worry about insurance, we have great insurance and we have a beach house to stay. So it's just different. And I felt, okay, we have the means to get through this. It's going to be difficult. There's a lot of things to do, but we have the means to get through this.
You can be grateful for all of that and still have lost some things that can't be retrieved.
Oh, there's no question. And still to this day, every once in a while, something will pop up and you're like, oh, that's not too. And there were certain things that matter. I mean, clothes doesn't matter. And the things that you don't think are important, I say letters. I love how people write letters. I like to try and write letters or thanks or whatever. In any kind of letter I receive from somebody, I say, and those were all done. And that was something that hurt. Certain pictures of the kids. Now, pictures are good because now they're all on the phone. But prior to that, when the children were little, those are the things that I missed. So there's a lot of stuff that goes along. I remember this like 5 days in. This sounds so ridiculous. I'm looking at my nails, and my nails have grown like so long. And I'm like, I gotta clip my nails. There's no nail clipper. Something so ridiculously silly as that. So everything had to be replaced, and that was just to try and.
Damn it!
And that's where my season started next week. That's when my wife came in. She just took over. She was.
Oh, you had to go.
Yeah.
The job calls. The job always calls.
Right. The fire was on a Sunday. Thursday, we had our opening seminar, ESPN seminar in the city. And following Monday or Tuesday, I had my first preseason game. And I didn't have a single tie, suit, dress shirt, pants, shoes, nothing. It all had to be done. So
you didn't. So you spent 4 days worried about fixing it without fixing shit. She fixed it all. You didn't do anything. You went and covered basketball games.
It's amazing. I hit the lottery when I married my wife, Roseanne, and she's to this day she's the one that's handled the entire rebuild. She's doing all that stuff while I, took my drive to the airport to go call her in.
Well, how does that one work? What did she miss the most? Where are the places that there is no replacing whatever the emotion of that is when family history gets lost.
Pictures with her
Damn
as well.
it.
Certain things that her mother passed when she was young. Things that her mother handed down to her. Those were the things. Or certain jewelry that she got from her mother that meant so much to her. But she handled it really. I mean, she probably handled it better than I did in terms of, all right, let's go forward. She was incredibly strong, incredibly smart, and I just leaned on her.
Were you not aware that people cared about you that way? Like what?
No. I knew it, but not to this extent. And sometimes it's just a reminder. We all take things for granted. And I feel I have so many friends that I'm so blessed with that when they just come out of the woodwork.
Thank you.
And it's not just a quick text or call. They're doing it over. It's incredible.
But not working is never one of the actual options when you're built the way that you are, correct?
No, there is no chance. Now, both my employees at ESPN and at Madison Square Garden Network, they said, come back whenever you want. You know, take your time. Just let us know when you're ready. And, you know, that made a difference, too. I did take off one preseason game because I was just a little overwhelmed with stuff. But
I thought it was good to just off a preseason game.
Get back to work. But again, that's when you're the people that you work for, all they care about is that you're okay.
Yeah.
That just was so comfortable.
What were the first big breaks after that came in your career that felt a little more like momentum as you came up?
The biggest one was, again, I'm in Poughkeepsie. I decided I'm going to give it 5 years. And back then, there was no sports talk radio. All there was the WFUV Fordham radio station had this talk show for 40 years. And Art Russ Jr. had a show on WABC Radio in New York. There was no WFAN, there was no sports talk. And NBC Radio decided to have a nighttime sports talk. We had Imus's in the morning, Soupy Sales in midday, Howard Stern in the afternoon. And they're going to have sports talk.
Soupy Sales in the midday. Holy shit.
How about that? That's lineup.
Okay, so this is the advent. If it's pre-sports radio, we're talking about...
Bruh, are you fucking serious?
Late 60s to early 70s. Soupy Sales.
No,
Soupy Sales is like a name from...
This is 85, 86.
Okay,
No.
But Soupy Sales is from a different time.
This was Pat.
And Burrow's in the zone.
But he was
For
on
real.
radio. And so they had a sports talk show that I heard about. Maybe I could get in there. And I found out the producer was a young man named Chris Doyle, who I went to college with, but had lost contact with. I thought, it can't be the same Chris Doyle. So I called him, and I said, listen, any job openings? He goes, no, not right now, but if something comes up, I'll let you know. So I continued the job in Pittsburgh. He called me after 2 weeks and said, I need a producer on Saturday nights. So that was, I started working at WNBC Radio in New York for 1 day a week I had off from Poughkeepsie. And then it became 2 days, then it became 3 days. So that was the biggest break. And again, it's just somebody I went to college. Every job I've ever received was through somebody that I knew, that I had a relationship with. And that was the theme throughout the whole damn thing.
How soon after that were you doing actual play-by-play? Because that requires a great deal of training. It requires a great deal of practice, stuff to get good at. You can't just be put at a microphone and do it well.
Right. Well, it was I did mostly producing work, but then I went to the program director and said, hey, listen, I'd like to do reports from Shea Stadium, Yankee Stadium, Madison Square Garden. And he said, okay, I'll send you out there. So the sports talk show host was a guy named Jack Spector. And Jack would have me go out and cover it. So it became half producing, half announcing. It became more announcing than producing. It was just the
hell?
process. And then the big break was when we did a simulcast on the MSG network. And the producer on the simulcast was Mike McCarthy. I was the producer on the radio cast. So we became great friends. And he got put up higher in the cooking line at the Garden. Radio job came open for the Knicks. do the play-by-play, he went to their bosses and said, I got a young guy that's we think it's really good. And that changed everything.
When did you realize you were good at it?
I thought I was pretty good at the radio. When you grow up in New York and
What?
Marv Albert, both radio and TV.
Bullshit, man.
If that's what you want, something stirs in you. There's nobody better. No one's ever called basketball better. So, I modeled myself after him, but not like him. And I thought after the first year, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. He told me I was going to be the radio voice of the Knicks for the next 34 years. I'd be the happiest person in the world. And I would have.
The dream looked like what?
Are you fucking serious?
Was it to be Marv Albert? Something like Marv Albert?
I thought I achieved the dream when I got the Knick radio job. And I remember Marv was still doing TV for the MSG Network then, and he called me after I got hired on my house. And I remember getting off the phone and saying to my wife, Marv Albert just called me to congratulate me. Welcome to the team. It's like, that dream doesn't get any better than that. So again, that's what I never imagined doing full-time television. I thought radio was going to be my gig. That's what I always did. And that would have been fine.
How old were you when Marv Albert called your house to tell you you've arrived at your dreams?
I'm going to say 28.
Okay, so that call on the landmarks of moving moments that you've had, where you remember the lighthouses of emotion, like, oh my God, I'm so happy that I'm here. I know that you probably feel a degree of that daily just because of the energy of being around what you get to be around. But at the beginning, what are the landmarks?
When you see the person again, it makes, like, you see this person and you think, wow, back then, how they helped me, how they helped change my life. That's when I get the most emotional when you get a chance to see. For example, Pat Riley, when I was Knick radio announcer, I used to do this pregame recording, and you'd go into his office and he had dark lights, and you'd go in, ask a few questions, and then you'd leave. There was no social there. But I learned so much from those interviews, and saw his intensity, etc. So after the first year, he gets, I didn't think he knew my name. But a week after the first year, I get a handwritten letter from Pat Riley thanking me for the professional job I did that year. And I thought that was just the greatest thing.
That was a gutsy move because I should have been stopped for yardage.
And after the announcement, I got another letter from him thanking me for 4 years of being part of a great journey. The letter meant so much to me that at a time when he was going through all this, he took the time to handwrite a letter to me. So I lost those letters in the fire. But my wife, and she didn't tell me right away, there were certain things when the people go in to try and salvage stuff, they found a few things. One of them was that letter. She had it sent to be restored and cleaned and stuff. And she just sent it to me the other day. And I get the letter and I look at it. And I just got so emotional because of that letter. And I brought it to Pat before game one of the finals. And I showed it to him. And he got emotional as well. And that's when those things come up.
They don't even jump.
And when you see the person who made a difference, because that letter gave me confidence that Pat Riley thought I was good at my job. When you're an NBA play-by-play guy and Pat Riley thinks you're good, it gives a young man confidence, and that's what came through, and that's why I got so emotional.
He appreciates both professionalism and craftsmanship. You probably saw very early on that you were made of a certain thing that he respected and respects the fact that you take care in the work that you do.
Right, and it makes a difference. It makes you, again, it makes you feel, okay, I can do this.
What else was found or recovered?
The other thing that she didn't tell me about right away is I'm not a big memorabilia guy. I've never really asked for autographs. But one year the NBA had this situation where they let players put their nicknames on the back of their jersey. They did it for 1 week. It was a cool idea. So ESPN, when we were doing our games, they gave us jerseys. Jeff Van Gundy had the notorious JVG. Mine was the Gray Mamba, because of, obviously, my hair. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna get Kobe to sign it. And he signed the jersey from one mom to two.
Aww.
It was great. And I got to know him pretty well at the end of his career, and then even after his career, more so. I did a couple of speaking engagements with him. So that one really meant something to me. And that was one of the first things I thought of when I lose.
You are a fan first, right?
Oh, crazy. Big Nick fan. I always say, when I was a kid, my dad, I thought he was the strongest man in the world. And Dave
Let's go.
So I loved the Busher, loved Clyde Frazier, and that's another thing that
Pete Werner with the fumble recovery for a touchdown, and we take the lead. Ow!
Put it up in the garage.
We need this the between the legs dribble one.
And the poster is still up. My mother still lives in the same house that I grew up in, and the poster's still up. And now I've been working with the man for 30 years, and he's become this wonderful friend. It's like you can't let this stuff. You don't understand.
People, I'm sure, always ask you your best call or favorite call or whatever, but I'm more interested in the times that you had to sleep or accidentally put the professionalism aside because the fan grabbed you. Because
Oh, I love South Beach sessions. I'm mad that I missed the one with Ernie Johnson and Bellator. Good thing I saved those on my personal list. I should have postponed my. To next month. So it's $90 for pivotal. This No, because I would have been able to buy some clothes.
The fan, while you're doing the telecast, while you're doing the broadcast, you're still the broadcaster who needs to nail the moment, the important moments, but the fan just grabs you and you're like, whoa, I got shifted there by the emotion of that, and my professionalism got displaced.
That happened a lot early because I was a Knicks fan as a kid, and every year they were competing for a championship the whole 4 years that Pat Riley was the coach. And there were some times where I thought I was a little over the top, like be a little bit more. Even though it was a Knicks radio cast in New York, you still have to have some objectivity. But I thought a few times that it was a little too much. But that, one thing, Dan, I'll say is I've been able to, for most of the time, maintain that. Even when I do Knicks games early, big playoff games on NBC or ESPN, I think anybody listening would think, oh, he's not rooting for the Knicks. He's clearly playing it down the middle. The one time I thought that maybe I became too much of a fanboy was Linsanity, because I've never seen anything like that. How somebody comes out of nowhere and becomes one of the most famous athletes in the world for about 3 weeks. And that's all it lasted. It seems like it was longer. And it was like pure joy in calling those games. And I think probably I came across as a bit of a fanboy during those.
Do you get nervous before games?
I still get nervous before game one of the finals of every year. That's the butterflies. And if I didn't have it, I'd be worried. But other than that, we do it so often. The only time I ever got nervous if I felt I wasn't prepared. And
that's never possible, right?
Every once in a while, things happen where you don't feel you're as prepared as you always are. So there's a little feeling.
The reason I laugh at you is because I'd like for you to explain to people what your preparation requires. I am crowbarring this out of you, but it's not possible for you to be as good as you are without you being over-prepared by X percent. Like, there must be so much.
I will crowbar this out of you.
My guess is not knowing anything but your work is you are wildly over-prepared.
That's exactly it. And you also have to know going in that...
What's in that folder right there? What is in that folder right there?
This was
No!
the things we did today with the players.
Not 1% of that will make it into the broadcast.
No, this stuff will.
How much of that will?
10%.
Okay, that looks like the library Kevin Spacey had in 7 of writing, and it's not even going to be 10%. You're wildly over-prepared for everything you're doing.
That might be 10%. Dick Stockton, who I've looked up to as one of the great underrated play-by-play coaches of all time, all different sports, versatile. He gave me a great bit of advice. I was doing a game for Knicks TV. He's doing TNT next to me. I've got my ridiculous amount of notes sitting in front of me, and I'm getting them all in order. I look over at him, and he has the game notes with like 5 just little things written. And he sees me looking at it, and he goes, I like how prepared you are. And he says, and I'm ready to go too. He says, just remember, he goes, everything that you have to be worried about is on the court. It's not down in your
I didn't hold it long enough.
Most of the time, if you use 15% of your notes, then that means it's probably a blowout and had to go into the stories because the game is still it. And when I listen and I tell young broadcasters this all the time, you can tell who's
30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5.
You want to impress your bosses, you want to impress yourself, you want to impress your colleagues, and then you realize you've got to let the game dictate what you want. But what I try and do every game, see after the NBA, there are 13 players who are eligible every day. Then 2 in the second. If any of those 13 players have the game of their life, you don't have enough information to tell the story. So that's kind of the way I approach it.
Do you look at anything that you have done in your past professionally with a regret? A call, a decision, anything? Do you look back on it and say, this didn't go the way?
As this one's in the air.
I mean, there are plenty of calls that I butchered and mistakes I made on the air, but I think it's impossible for that not to happen.
Were you gentle with yourself about it?
No, not at first. In the first however many years, it kills you, just kills you, and shakes your confidence to the point where you're thinking about it every night, and if that situation comes up again, I hope I can do better. I mean, it stays with you.
You can't be as good as you are at it without being a perfectionist that way. Like, it has to hurt.
Right, and it should, because you want to get better, but as long as you learn from it. But now, as you
That's
get
what
older,
a lot of people told me when I was working at Dollar General.
realize it's live television.
Not sponsored anyway, but I'm just telling you a little life story. It's the fact that a lot of people are telling me that, yes, retail may not be the best thing for you, but sometimes you just gotta suck it up and deal with it.
Wins the game for the Celtics. It was like one of the classic finishes, and I so butchered the call, and I was really upset that night because I felt our team had one of the best telecasts we've had all year. Like, everything clicked, and that's one of the real fun parts of the job, when everybody from the producer, director, the camera people, the graphics people, we're all just kicking ass, and we did it for about 4 minutes. So that's what's fun. And not take a couple of days, but then you realize, okay, you get back into it. It's
Last year, Mike Green, consummate professional, was tormented for days.
What? Maybe torment is too strong. I didn't sleep that night. I was upset. I wanted to do a game the next day so badly, just so I could get just back in.
It's a bit of a craze, though. It's an insanity to...
No question.
Like, I mean, you've been doing this too long to have sleepless nights of torment because you haven't made a career-ending decision in the broadcast. You haven't made a mistake that ends your career, but just you had a bad night.
Yes.
Or a bad ending to a bad night.
But I guarantee you ask any play-by-play announcer, and they'll tell you the same thing. Now, some might be better, but most that I know, I have some great friends that have done it, and we share stories. Ian Eagle is a great friend of mine. Kevin Harlan, Brian Anderson.
Yep. I was thinking about either Brian Anderson or Kevin Harlan.
We're all the same way.
I have a friend who does this, who describes that as spending the night eating his own right arm. Just consuming his right arm because of the way that you represent yourself, because you've been something less than perfect in front of people.
You let it go. As you get older, you let it go. And I was better about it than I had been.
I mean, Joe Burrow's gonna get his. They're just not gonna.
It's all part of it.
What other advice have you gotten from broadcasters that has stayed with you? You mentioned that you, what did you say, was Stockton, not Enberg, right? That obviously one of the best to do it.
Ow.
Other advices that you've gotten along the way from people that have been most helpful?
You know, two were that I love listening to and gave me advice. Vern Lundquist and Dick Enberg. Lundquist had a phrase, celebrate the game. And it's so appropriate because unfortunately sometimes the game is bad. Sometimes you have to criticize players, coaches, refs. But people are watching the game because they love basketball. They don't want to hear you just killing people all the time.
Basically, bitching.
That's why they're watching. So celebrate the good parts. And Vern was great at that. And he also helped in terms of telling you, make the people feel like the guy who's sitting next to you, or the woman who's sitting next to you, like you're best friends, and are having just a time of your life together. And that, I thought, was really important. So that's something I did. The other, with Dick Enberg, was people want to know about the athletes that you're talking about. So give them some personal anecdotes, and let them know that these players, these young men in the NBA, are human beings that have really interesting stories. So those two, more than just a technique of doing play-by-play, those two things I thought were important.
It must be strange to you, as fundamentally decent as you are, to see the coarsening in sports coverage when you're just trying to tell nice stories about an athlete who's human, but you come from a tabloid city. You've seen sports television become argument television. You've seen Anthony Davis be amazing and majestic, but a source of just endless criticism. It must be bothersome to you to watch what sports coverage has become.
I hate it. It's journalism has become criticism. And I hate that people feel that they have to be critical to be considered a good journalist or to be a good analyst. And there's so much out there that's
No!
it's difficult to put yourself in their positions. I mean, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes on the air. Players make mistakes on the court, and it's become too critical, and it's not just having to be critical. It's the words that are used in criticism.
How do you overthrow him? Damn it!
But I'll only use words that I would say to their face. For example, you have a terrible game. You could say, "Oh, boy, Dan, he just was awful. He stunk. It was an embarrassment what he did." Or you can say, "Boy, Dan really struggled tonight." You're saying the same thing. It's a more humane way to say it. Why do you have to crush people while you criticize them? There's a respectful way to do it. And I think a lot of people have gotten away from that, and that bothers me.
Has it gotten meaner? Because you've worked in New York for a long time. The tabloids have played with this for a while. Basically, sports radio and sports division was invented there. Sports radio has infected just about everything that is the sports coverage today.
Yeah, no, it's definitely gotten meaner. Often there's a mocking tone to it. It's unfortunately, that's what gets people noticed, and that's why when I find, when I talk to college students who want to do this, that's something I bring up, and I use that expression I just said to you before, is like, only say something about somebody that you would say to their face if you had to, because if you're doing words that you'd be hesitant to say right to them face to face,
you have watched and seen many of your peers. This doesn't happen to you a lot. Just get wrecked by criticism.
You mean that the broadcasters getting
Yes,
yeah.
I'm talking about there is such a swell of all manner of emotion around sports right now, and such a cruelty in the way that we absorb content with the advent, I shouldn't even say the advent of social media, but there's a lot of criticism on social media that would not be said to anybody's face. And you manage a space in this ecosystem that somehow doesn't get a lot of
He was
what I'm
retired, and they
talking about,
have
which
Chase
is
McLaughlin
that
as their
announcer stinks for
punter.
all of these reasons.
Right. No, it's incredible. Well, Twitter is just it's
Cesspool.
It gives people the license just to destroy people, and I guess it's the old thing of people want to make themselves better by bringing down others to their level.
Don't pay any attention. It's just a fine for coughing into a microphone. It's an inside joke around here.
Okay.
You're going to put the $5. You're going to actually get the cash out of your pocket here and give us $5. You've got Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. They're perpetually getting hammered. Those guys are perpetually getting beat up. They're more opinionated than you are. You're playing it down the middle, but their part of the telecast is always something that's polarizing because there's a lot of people listening and they're going to get mad about something.
Well, their criticism, though, from what I view it at, is they have such a love for the game. So when they see a player, coach, or a ref, or the league not doing something that's for the best for the game, that's where they criticize it, because they want the best of the game that they love the most. And that's, to me, what makes them so good, is they're not hesitant to make their feelings felt. But I also feel their love of the game comes out all the time. And the criticism that they get, I have no idea. I think for me, it's a dream come true, working with these two. We've been friends, all three of us, for over 30 years. And to do it this long with them sitting by my side, that's one of the reasons why I've had success, because I'm I love his brothers, teach me about the game, and I'm so comfortable with them on the air.
Do you tell them how you feel about them?
It's so funny you say that, because they don't like that kind of stuff. They're not interested. They know how.
Damn it!
They don't need me to say it. But just the other day, before Game 1 of the finals, I sent them both a text telling them how much they mean to me. But I specifically said at the end of the text, I don't want to hear anything back. Don't respond to this, because it would be a mock. They would be mocking me for doing that. But they know how I feel about it.
Why'd you feel the need to do that right before that?
Because I hadn't said it in a while, and that's kind of You know, again, it goes back to what we were talking about before. When you have kindness thrown your way and it makes you feel good, you like
30 yards.
to show, you know what, I can do the same thing. Maybe I can make somebody feel good with a nice text or a nice phone call. And I just felt, because I hadn't told them in a while, and we've been doing it a long time, and it kind of came because, you know, there was a press release about my 18th finals, and I can't comprehend that. That's not something I can process, that I've been able to call the finals for 18 years. That's beyond anything I could even possibly dream about. And to do it with them, it just was it made me feel, boy, how blessed I am to have these two next to me. And that's why I sent it.
How do you feel about them? I mean, you told me they're like brothers, but what does that mean?
They would do anything in the world for me, and they know I'd do anything in the world for them. And that's on a personal note. On a professional note, the beauty of it is we can say anything to each other on the air, and nobody gets offended. And that's rare in business to have that. And I think, again, because we came in the league the same time, Jeff taught me so much about the league as a coach when he was an assistant. Mark taught me so much about as a player, and then as a coach. We watched our families grow up together. We spent a lot of time
Let's go!
with each other. That it just,
Get off me!
It's been a special part of my life to have all these wonderful things happen with them next to me, and I can't imagine it being any other way.
But you don't tell them that you love them.
Oh no, Jeff would smack me if I told them, but they know I do.
But it's not said between you. It's just funny because it's so obvious. You couldn't work together for 30 years without the level of understanding, appreciation, respect, admiration that you have for them. These are difficult jobs. Man, these things splinter. They don't last 30. Friendships, some last 30 years, many last 30 years. But these work relationships can be fraught with all sorts of garbage.
Ah!
Not everybody's comfortable verbalizing that stuff, and I know that. And if I think somebody's
Are you fucking serious?
maybe I won't say as much. I'm like, my dad was, again, go back to my father. My father, for a marine construction worker, was a very affectionate man and was not afraid to talk about that. And I got that from him. So I'm very comfortable with expressing my emotions and telling people, but other people aren't. So.
What did you admire most about your father?
I used to watch, like, we'd go to church on Sundays as a family, and he seemed to know every single person in the church and would have a nice word for every single person. And they were also happy to see John. So that, I really took that away. And plus his, and my mother as well, instilled the faith, we're Catholic, the faith in God that has guided me throughout my life. But I think with him, it was that just made everybody feel good around him. And they were also happy to see him.
You're the same, right?
I've tried to live my life that way. And, you know.
Let's go!
It's hard for me to say. I can't say that.
Well, but you're your father's son, right? It doesn't have to, like, if you've been purposeful about that, if you saw it in your patterning, if you admired it about him, if you learned it from him, it would stand to reason that you would see the importance of having grace and touch that way.
Right. Yes. So, yes, I've tried to be that way. I hope I could come even, 1/10 of the way he was with people to make me feel good.
How often is your faith tested?
Wow. I'm getting deep on you here. It's tested a lot.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
And I think that's healthy. And I've had people who are in the Catholic Church tell me that is a good thing. You should question it. So yeah, no, that happens on a fairly regular basis.
The reason I asked the question is I'm wondering how often humanity disappoints you, because you made a point of saying, you know what, I think people are good. And I see examples again and again of people not being good. It doesn't mean they're not capable of the former. I just see a lot of examples all the time of bad stuff happening to good people. And so I can see where even the godliest of men would get rattled there.
Well, yeah, no, you wonder. For example, with the last year there were some bumps. For example, I contacted COVID before Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, so I missed Game 7, and then the first 2 games of the finals last year, Mark Jones filled in, and I'm like, all this time I don't get it. Now I get it at the 3 most important games of the year, so I was upset with that. But okay, that kind of stuff happens. Then the fire happens, and okay, here's another thing to overcome. And to that, one of my dearest friends from my early days in radio passed away from cancer. So that's the night I told you I just lost it. It's like one after another, and I'm saying to myself, what have I done here? Like, why? Why is this stuff? And you quickly get past it because
Thank you.
you just, number one, you have to. Number two, that's what my faith has taught me. That part of the road is really difficult. And
Millerson is on now.
you are through the difficult times. It's easy to be happy and great and gracious and wonderful, and as you keep saying, decent to people when things are going well. Can you do it when things aren't going well?
I'm a little bit surprised, and perhaps I shouldn't be, because it requires a great level of care what you do. I will say it again, to make it all look that easy. But the idea that at this stage in your career, with everything you've done at work, that you wouldn't permit yourself to miss 3 games because you came down with a
What?
that required you to not go to work because you can't work if you've got COVID. Like, it's a bit maddening, the idea that you have to be at work under all circumstances. Work is the important thing. These were important games, Dan.
Too far.
These were important games. When I think you know how silly that can sound when real life things happen.
You're right on it. And quite honestly, 2 things I'll say to that. Number one, when I was stuck in my hotel room in San Francisco and I had to watch the first 2 games, and it just looked so
No!
wonderful on TV, the Warriors and the Celtics. It gave me appreciation of, you know what, we've been so blessed to do this for so long. It showed me again what a big deal this was to call these games, what an honor it was to call these games. That's number one. And then the other thing that you bring up off that, because sometimes you focus so much on work. You ask me regret, you know what my regret is sometimes? That maybe I did too many games. That maybe I should have been home, because I missed dance recitals, baseball games, basketball games, birthdays. You know, my kids they're the most important thing in the world to me. And I missed a lot of stuff with them. And there frequently are times when thinking, you know what, I was on the road too much. Did I have to do it too much? Did I have to have that drive, that ambition to keep year after year doing so many games? And that's something that I'll always wrestle with.
Have you told them that?
Yep. Oh yeah, we talked about it all the time. And I used to say sometimes to them, I would say, and I'd have to talk with my wife, should I cut back? Should I cut back on games? And she'd always tell me, no. The kids, they love what you do. When you're home, you're home. You have the summers off. So that was something that I constantly kept with her, and I trust her word, and she was always good with that. And I would always apologize to the kids, and I'm like, no, Dad, it's great. It's all great.
There is not even a little bit, correct, of you anywhere in there, wherever the most fragile of broadcasting insecurities reside, that thinks to himself, man, Mark Jones could have replaced me there. Could have replaced me forever. You know what I mean? Like, we can be protective about our spaces, and if you leave, there aren't many jobs like the one that you have. So if someone can step in there, you don't want to lose it, and you also want to be someone who's giving with the space.
Listen, I have confidence in my ability to do the job. I think I'm pretty good at it. But there's been a feeling all these years up to doing the finals, all these years, that somebody's going to say, wait a minute, we can get somebody better than him. And that's part of the drive, making sure you still prepare and want to be at your best. Because you think that, right, you're easily replaceable. And if you do, and I'm very well aware of this, you take away the top announcer, people might be upset. They say, oh, boy, listen, that goes away so quickly. They're so easily replaced. Right now, there are so many great basketball play-by-play voices that could do what I do easily. There's so many good ones, and I think it's important to know that you're easily replaced because it motivates you to just try and stay good and stay prepared. And
You shouldn't feel that anymore. You got it.
no,
You got it. You're okay. You got it. You
No!
get a little lazier, and you still got it. You can take half that many notes, and you'll still be okay.
all right, I'm gonna throw something back at you.
Oh my God, are you fucking serious?
LeBron's time in Miami, and everybody was writing stuff about LeBron. It got to the point where what else can you say about him? And you wrote a column on him that I was blown away by. It was incredible.
I was trying to get Kawhi Baker involved.
And you saw the next day, and he said to me, listen, that column today, I said, it was perfect. I said, I've never seen him put, the way you described him and what he was and what he was going through, it was perfection. And my question to you is, do you know when you hit send to your editor, do you know, yeah, this one I nailed, this one was special. Do you remember me saying that to you?
I remember that you were effusive in your praise. I don't know what my answer was to that. I could answer it now, and I don't know if it would be similar to.
All right, tell me your answer now.
What real confidence is for me in writing, where I have my most confidence, is in trying to live up to the standard of my father, who was a man who did not do pleasure. And I was somebody who was always trying to please him. I eventually got to the point in my writing and few other things where if it met my standard and I hit send, I knew when it was good, and there was great reward of that. I can't imagine that I would share that with a stranger, though. At the time, he's just giving me a compliment.
No, what you said was, I don't hit send unless I feel it's that, which is kind of simple. But I remember at first I'm like, ooh, there's no way. I mean, this article is perfection. There's no way. You gotta know that.
Let's go! I've never done that before.
And it's part of the way I try and think is I don't want to go on the air unless I'm so fully prepared and ready to go. Just like you're not going to hit that send button unless you feel that you've done everything possible to make that a perfect compliment.
But I don't write anymore.
I know.
Because it's hard, and you're still out here doing it. You're still out here doing it, worried that when you miss 3 games, you're not at work. Damn it, you need to be at work. Mike Green needs to be calling the big games in basketball. He's been doing it very well for 18 years.
I promise. I'm getting better.
I don't believe you at all.
No, it's true. I'm much better than I used to.
So you are a totally insane person. To get to where you got to in your 20s, you must have been driven beyond all reasonable measure by ambition.
No, I don't. I've always felt I have a really good balance. That I know my family's the most important thing in my life, and I've managed to be able to do that. There's just in the business that I came and nobody knew who I was, and I had to work really hard to get there, to get people to take notice and then respect. You just feel you have to continue to do that because that's how you got there. So the idea,
no, damn it!
Laying off the reins a little bit, I just can't, because I still do the same amount of work every game.
Well, this means that you can't even imagine your retirement from here. Correct?
No, that's different. I'm going to surprise you here. I'm not going to be somebody who's doing crazy amount of games well into later years. I do, and I owe it to my wife to be able to have more time with her.
Why is it?
Kids now are out of the house, and she's the one that has held the fort for so many years that I want to be able to have her be the one to decide what to do, where you want to go, all the different things that she's wanted to do. John Stockton, when he gave his $10. John Stockton, when he gave his Hall of Fame speech, I remember him saying, what the key for my career was every time I walked out the door to go to the airport, I knew everything was taken care of at home. And that's the way I felt my entire life.
How would you, as we get out of here, how would you articulate for us what that love is? of building a family, building a home, building a life in support of your dreams, your family, and your faith. How would you articulate that to people?
This dude was just too smart.
To be married to a man who's on the road how many days a year?
I've never counted, but again, it goes back to growing up in a house that had its share of problems, and didn't have
Oh,
ease.
you've got to be serious.
But again, there was love every day. To see my mother and father, and my brothers, and it was such a wonderful, caring, loving home. That was like a dream that would be wonderful to have. And then you hit the lottery, and meeting the woman of your dreams, have 3 children together, and have this incredible life. And she has to sacrifice. She made a lot more money than I did. And then when she had kids, she gave up to be home with the kids. And to share that in love, that's the greatest accomplishment. The greatest accomplishment of my life is the family that I want to say I've raised, but she did more than raising.
Oh, you've got to be fucking serious.
Supporting you being happy, chasing your dreams, right?
Every step of the way.
How?
She's the most incredible, selfless, smart, funny woman, crazy sports fan. It's just of all the blessings that I've had, the day that I was set up with her by a woman I worked with on a blind date, that's the number one blessing that led to everything else.
How did it go over when you came home after botching the Tatum fall? Was she supportive, or was it, oh, what a bag of shit you were?
No, she knew how much I'd be upset about it. So when I called her that night, she's always, oh, no, it's okay. But she knows that whatever she says, it's not going to help her.
You're still eating your right arm. You guys are crazy. You can't be as excellent as he is without caring that way. Mike, thank you so much. It was good having this conversation with you. I enjoyed it.
I so appreciate it. I hope it wasn't too boring, but
you're a little self-conscious about boring. Like, what is it? You're trying to stay so far out of the way. Like, what are you doing there? Mike Green's story is interesting, and his work is fantastic. And I wanted to show our listeners the man behind the work at least a little bit, because you're a bit concealed. People don't know a lot about you. This is good for you. People, you're not polarizing. You get to somehow skate through this entire cruel wilderness of sports relatively unscathed, and it's I believe because you carry yourself with a very decent aura, it makes it hard to dislike you. So thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Dollar Shave Club's great selection of razors is available online on both Amazon and DollarShaveClub.com. But sometimes shaving can't wait. Fortunately, Dollar Shave Club is also available in stores near you. I lost a bet a few months back, and I had to shave my beard off. It was the first time I was shaving it in many, many years. And luckily, I got to do it with Dollar Shave Club, because it was at least smooth.
Not surprising. That guy's gonna get released. He'll never play again. You can't say anything negative about LGBTQ plus people. Just not cool at all.
For a close, smooth shave. Its 6 stainless steel blades are perfect for short or thin hair, and it comes with a precision trimmer blade for those hard-to-reach places. Or you can grab a 4-blade razor, perfect for long, coarse hair. It has 4 easy rinsing blades to slay the coarsest hairs. Their razors have a diamond grip, heavyweight handle, which feels great in your hand while you shave. So
Not for YouTube, but for a local radio station. Really? Come on. Why can I never get a damn job?
A little clear out and hope you can get your receiver the ball coming across the formation. Nice design, but well played defensively, and they stop him well short.
So on fourth down, off goes Burrow. On comes Evan McPherson for the Bengal field goal. From the right hash, this from 33. McPherson's kick is good, and that'll bring him back within 4. So give him 3 on that drive. You know, normally you'd say we'll take it, but the way points have been flying around, it feels like a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, you just have to wonder, are field goals going to be enough? Because as you pointed out, the way touchdowns have been scored, does kicking a field goal actually put you at a disadvantage the rest of the way?
So after the made field goal, here's McPherson to send this one away.
I don't care. Give me my shit.
From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Saints again ready to go on offense.
Landry. Thomas ain't gonna get open.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive.
Come on, guys. Hold on to the ball.
Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down. Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29.
Hello.
Here. And Callaway taking it in left side. And the offense moving quickly to the line. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Got it open, then he completes it to Callaway. And he is going to have a Saints first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. And across midfield he goes and into Bengal territory. 8 yards the tally on that first down run. Here's 2nd and 2. Eluding the pressure right. And the timing a bit off that time as that one falls to the ground.
They certainly thought they had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. Pass the 20. And they will finally put it into the return, but not until he takes it back all the way inside the 10-yard line. Well, holding on to the lead at this stage in the second half, those are the types of plays you really want to try and stay away from.
And when you're a rookie, keeping your focus is something that you still have to.
You telling me anybody else was open on this play?
The guy cutting across was open.
Oh, Landry.
The outside receiver was open. If we'd waited another second, he would have been gone. Won't nobody in the middle of the field.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many distractions around you between the crowd noise and your coaches and your teammates. But the other part, you've got to learn how to finish. The 2 F's for a rookie quarterback.
And he'll spot Higgins open left side. And he showed a nice little juke, but then the window quickly closed. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. Mixon is not going anywhere. He'll be hit and dropped for no gain at the 2-yard line. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. They'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is 3rd and goal. Mixon again, and he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. Joe Mixon, halfway to 100 now with career touchdown number 50. And the Bengals have retaken a 3rd quarter lead. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that gives them a 3-point lead. Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And it all culminated in the touchdown run coming from Joe Mixon.
They will always be the Bungles. Like, we're always going to be known as the Aints.
McPherson on to kick this one away.
Yeah, for like 7 years, from like 2009 to 2017, whatever than that. But no, 2018 and 2019. I gotta remember you didn't make it.
Out on the field comes New Orleans. Here comes another drive from this unit, and Charles coming off a costly mistake on the last possession, an interception in a game that is very close right now. Well, as we know, they all
but it's like any version of Madden I play, every time I play the AFC North or the NFC West, I always struggle with them.
To make up for it on this drive, I just don't expect them to try and take huge gambles to make up that momentum in a hurry.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. They're going to hurry back to the line now. On 2nd down, Mostert. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They're going to look to throw. Over the middle and into the hands of his receiver.
Look, I don't care. It sounds like a
and this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46.
Yes.
2nd and 1. Going deep here.
Yes, sir. What? It was single coverage.
One thing that offensive guys stress when they throw the deep ball.
I know. That's
receiver to find it just before the defensive back can get his head
coming down
around.
the Mostert.
In this case, though, the DB matched it move for move and knocked it away.
And he is going to have a Saints 1st down, and he's going to have it by plenty. Able to get 8 yards there on 3rd and 2. Back to throw again.
What?
Oh, he was hit as he
How's
threw
that?
it there, and that one winds up incomplete. A good action to this point in the 3rd quarter. Just a 3-point game. 2nd and 10. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far.
Gotcha.
With a pick. And the Bengals are going to have
Because I'm trying to get back in the game. I'm not trying to lose again to these
Now
guys.
it's 2 straight drives and in with an interception.
And that first time, the first interception, they ended up getting 6 points out of it, taking the lead. Now they have an opportunity to increase that lead after your 2nd pick on 2
Because it
drives.
was single coverage. You're supposed to take advantage of that.
Every time. The offense coming back out here. Plenty of energy ready to roll. Looking to just add to what they have been doing after scoring a touchdown, Charles, their last time out.
And that's a great feeling to have on the sideline, partner. Knowing you just
That's actually not realistic.
defense. And since they get off the field, I guarantee you all they want to do is get back out there because they know they have the upper hand on that defense right now.
And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield.
Jamar Chase is not that good of a
100
driver.
receiving for the game. Yes, it will. And he's got a 1st down.
Win. Second. If you say so.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off. Back now here live in New Orleans. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal
doesn't
separating
have
these two
to.
teams as we get set for the fourth quarter.
Really?
Mixon with a first down carry. Has some space
Nobody
here.
wants to tackle.
And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. 130 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. So in Saints territory now. Here's 1st and 10.
The same ones you've been watching.
Now Burrow. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop any like that one. 2nd down. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. A draw play for Mixon. And good running to get this down close
I ain't gonna wait 7
to the
days.
Saints 30.
He's gonna make the Super Bowl.
They give to Mixon to try to pick it up.
There's a better opportunity for the Jaguars than the Bengals. Because they play in an easier division.
For that time as the drive continues.
They did not win it last year. It was the Ravens.
And they still made it further than the Ravens.
Again, it's Mixon. No gain on the play there. 2nd down. Here's a give to Mixon. And a few times here today, this one's not going to go.
Okay, back-to-back years. But
No gain on the play.
that's only a small sample size.
Now they're looking up at a 3rd and 9 situation.
They don't even play them this year.
And he's going to be taken.
Finally, got penetration. Goals.
Multiple players getting home there for an 8-yard loss.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack after.
Because, like you said, their offensive line has always been back, even during Andy Dalton.
They got a solid line already.
McPherson's kick is good, and that will add 3 more to their lead. It pushes it up to 6. So they get the 3, but you wonder now,
But
is that going
that's,
to be
I'm just weak at the fact that you think that the Bengals are a legit contender. Okay, we'll see. In 3 months. Chargers, Dolphins, Broncos.
It's across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line.
Chiefs are overrated.
Now comes the new
I don't want my laughing.
Once in the playoffs, they go to the big game. They win the Super Bowl, they overrated.
No.
Who else has had as much success the last time?
interception. He'll look to throw. He'll swing this out to Mostert.
Not their team.
And they're going to hurry back to the line
Got to
now.
be what, the best team in the league?
Don't you dare say that.
I mean, look at the results.
Here's a 2nd and
Look
7.
at the results. They always win.
It's Hill.
They go into the playoffs. They get in the playoffs. They usually the best team from big game.
So from the 36 now,
They don't look
1st
to
and
the big
10.
game. They win the Super Bowl. They not good. They even lost trading their best wide receiver and didn't miss a beat. They not good.
Try again from the 36 on 2nd
Yes,
and 10.
they're good.
I mean, I'm challenging you to tell me any team in the league is playing better football at this moment.
And he'll get this into the hands of Hill, complete. And he'll be taken to the other side of midfield at the
I can't.
46-yard line.
So this is your contenders this year. The
They'll
Broncos,
look to throw again.
Dolphins,
Got his man, Baker.
Chargers,
Yes, the Dolphins and the Jaguars.
the Jaguars.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down.
Hold on to the ball.
Nice throw there, as that will wind up incomplete. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Meanwhile, the throw here is complete, and he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30.
Nah.
And on 3rd and 5, this will be...
Even though we got a decent quarterback in Derek Carr, our defensive line's always been one of the most
Looking for the
over.
And he'll be out just inside the 25-yard line. And they just keep marching right along. 1st down on the pick of 8 there.
times we see it, I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practice,
they're not even going to win 4 games.
As well. They really tuned it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
Hey, our division is not as bad as the AFC South. They're worse than us. So you cannot even do it.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And he is into the end zone.
Let's go.
Touchdown, New Orleans. Kawan Baker, a 14-yard touchdown. And the Saints are an extra point away from going back on top here in the fourth. A very important extra point there, up and good. And they have taken the lead here in this fourth quarter. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
Ironically, that actually was the final score in that game. Actually, that's pretty accurate.
Fielded at the 5. And beyond the 20, but not by much. In fact, just.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Joe Mixon and the rest of his offense making their way back onto the field. He's already hit pay dirt.
If you want me to give you my top 5 teams in the AFC right now, I can give it to you.
He is feeling good.
He's just zipping along today.
Number 5, Bills. Number 4, Broncos. Number 3, Jaguars. Number 2,
Why are the Broncos good?
They have a good defense.
That's all they got is defense. Their offense sucked last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before.
No, not before.
Done nothing.
2021, they led the league in rushing yards.
They didn't win shit. They didn't even go to the playoffs.
Well, no, they went 7-8-1, but still.
So, because they put up numbers, they supposed to be good. That's what make them good.
Yeah, if you lead the league in the
All
NFC.
for the Broncos sack, bro. The Broncos have done nothing since Peyton Manning retired.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So, okay, number 5 is shot. Okay, go to 4.
I said not the Bengals, the Dolphins.
Wow, the Dolphins haven't even won their division.
I can see why people would question me on that one.
Why they one of the top teams?
Because it got speedsters on both offense and defense that can stop the run and the pass on defense.
In the playoffs?
Yes, they made the playoffs last year. They lost to the Bills in the wildcard game, 38-31. Skylar Thompson had 400 yards.
They only made the playoffs 1 year in the last 5 years.
3 times.
They good though.
Yes.
No.
They're a playoff contender, so.
Not good. They looked up and got the playoffs. Okay. 3.
Jaguars.
Why? Because the Jaguars turned this season around last season?
No. Well, yeah, because 2022, no, 2021 and 2020, we don't talk about those. Those were just so bad. 2019 was the last thing, other than last year, they made the playoffs. So I can see why he's like, not really a contender. They're like a pretender. I can understand that.
They did play well last year. I'm not going to take nothing away from them. They played well. But
yeah.
Perennial contender?
Of course. The Bills.
Okay.
And the Chiefs, number 1.
But 3, 4, and 5? You left off the Ravens.
Together for him. It's that type of a day that you see it back.
Come on now.
A grin on his face every time his number is called. Because he doesn't feel like there could be any long yardage plays. Nothing but big time positive runs.
Making the sideline grin as well. On 1st and 10, Joe Burrow. Over the middle, that's caught by Chase. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30.
I'm just looking at the fact that you think the Ravens are a legit contender. New England didn't make the playoffs last year. So who cares? Oh, yeah. Ravens, yeah. But, neither of those teams I said either are going to be in the playoffs. And so, I don't even understand why people even care for them that much. No.
To pick up the first down and move the chains. On 3rd down, Burrow. And he's got Hurst, his tight end. And he is going to have a Bengals first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a first and 10.
Could be a good team, especially in our
Now Joe Mixon. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Yeah. Let's go, user alert.
Picked off by the corner, and the Saints are going to take possession of the football. He's at it again, Charles. He had the pick 6 last week, and the pick 6 here with an interception.
It's another Oski. We use when we intercept the pass. Oski tells the team to rally around and look for it. Well, that worked really well last week because he had made it all the way to the end zone.
Yeah.
You got to be Oski, maybe not a touchdown, but boy, he's playing really well.
Gotta go quality backup.
2nd and 5. He'll get it once more into the hands of Hill. And he's going to be taken down just shy of the 35. And now they're in the hurry-up. They'll go to the air here on 3rd and 2. And this is caught. He hits Landry.
Oh, you want me to roll one?
The Packers, and I'm gonna be like, bro, watch the Packers play last year.
Here's my top 5 teams for the NFC. Number 5. It's probably a weird choice, but I'm saying the Giants.
I'm not saying the Giants is a bad team, but just like the Vikings last year, they won a lot of games at the last minute.
Yeah.
Some lucky shit. They got 2 off of us. We beat them the 2nd game, and they cheated us the 1st game. Because that was pass interference. So
even I thought, I'm not even
that was pass interference, and they didn't call it, so we lost. The 1st game, we had an opportunity to beat them too, but we lost it. I don't consider the Giants one of the top teams. Okay, next. They may be.
Ironically, I was actually going to put the Vikings as number 4 on my list, but now I got to change it.
They won like 11 games by sheer fortune, bro.
Yeah.
They was losing all them games. Their defense was some trash. I mean, straight trash.
Are you sure?
Their defense was straight trash.
Okay. But
they won a lot of games on some last-second bullshit that stuff just go off. They got lucky. Next.
Number 3, San Francisco 49ers.
But you just told me San Francisco won't good.
Then I had to think about it. They got shit. They got
Bosa,
they got John
and a decent offense with a lot of weapons.
Yeah, they got
San Francisco's pretty tough.
Yeah. But their quarterback room is so bad, though.
Okay, you don't know what their quarterback room was like. You don't know what Fields can do. You seen what the 7th round pick Purdy can do. And they had Garoppolo. That was a decent quarterback room.
Yeah.
They just had injuries.
Yeah.
If all their top quarterbacks didn't get hurt, they probably would have made some more noise.
Yeah, if Lance and Garoppolo didn't get hurt.
So, okay, next. San Francisco's good. They're a contender. Next.
It pains me to say this. Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. What makes Dallas good, bro? They always
Michael Parsons, Michael Gallup.
They got good players. Some of them.
Trayvon
Some of them. But I don't consider they might.
Dak.
I don't consider them a contender, bro. Because Dak fold up every time, and the defense is.
No, it's not his fault. The wide receivers don't catch the ball.
The defense is decent, but Dallas is not a contender. Next. The offense is not unstoppable, bro. Next.
Okay, number 1 contender in the NFL for the NFC.
Number 2.
Number 2. Philadelphia Eagles.
It was good last year. They got a lot of on paper. They look good. They look like they might come on back, but anything happens. Next.
Okay. The number 1 contender right now, I think, in the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks. Because you gotta realize they got all that young talent in the secondary. They got a new wide receiver they drafted in Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Kenneth Walker's coming back. Rashard Penny's coming back.
Rashard Penny's on the Giants next.
But yeah,
Seattle was a feel-good story. Might not shake out that way this year.
that was my top 5 right there. But I mean, it's a lot of teams that didn't make it that I put in both of my top 5s.
Football and basketball.
It's a crapshoot.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
Besides New England being beat all of them,
They'll drop the throw.
there was no team out there.
Mays Baker is counted. And it's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. And he's got it.
I guarantee you, if Mahomes were to get hurt, he also sees Kansas City go down the tour. They would go down the tour.
And the Saints are able to build on it.
Who is their backup?
Exactly.
Lutz with the extra point. And sure they will take a touchdown here. 2-point conversion to tie it.
If they even have one.
They got one. Every team got one. I'm just saying. I think you're sleeping on some of the middle teams.
I just don't think Tampa Bay nor Atlanta is good in the division. Carolina.
Of course we're going to hate.
Fielded just outside to go.
Guys, it's been 2 years since we won the division. We had to start with you Tampa Bay winning it back-to-back years with terrible records.
Still plenty of time here in the fourth quarter.
It happens a ton in the NFC South.
Every year, somebody else wins every year.
Your division is the only division in the NFL to not have a repeat winner in the last 15 years.
Exactly. Up the Bengals here, 1st and 10 at their own 21. They'll hand it off here. This is Mixon. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. The opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Burrow looking to pass.
Let's go! User alert! Williams!
I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his 2nd interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe it.
And he's got it. Touchdown, Saints.
Back-to-back the Rangers.
With a 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Saints add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week. What's good on the extra point? And the lead is up to 15 now.
I don't like the choices. I never considered Dallas a contender because Dallas scored every December. As soon as December come along, they spend all their time beating up on their weaker opponents, and then as soon as they play a good team, they get destroyed every time. Every time.
I wouldn't say that.
Dak never wins in the
Right on the
playoffs.
tee, and the Saints kick tee.
You tell me he needs to.
Get you there like Kirk Cousins.
Oh no! Don't you dare say that. But Kirk Cousins went to a conference championship game.
He will never get you there.
Line and no further.
It's not
Cincinnati set to
meant to
take
be.
over.
Never be the quarterback.
And they've sort of lost their way.
I just cannot
How do they
believe you would say
recalibrate
that.
and get this proverbial train back on track?
Okay, he played one season with your
He played 4
dysfunctional
seasons
team.
with us.
4?
I'm just saying.
Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right,
Throw it out the window.
yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
He's not the
I guess it's,
quarterback.
it's a fumble. And this is picked up by the
Oh,
Saints.
oh,
I mean, I had to make a comeback.
To the 24-yard
oh,
line.
We
Man,
have seen this before.
it's like that.
Coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. You got to put it away and secure it as they try to get downfield.
The New Orleans offense set to take over.
In the league, Mark.
They sit in a good spot, having the ball back
Except
after
you
a fumble recovery and up 2 scores in the 4th quarter.
Probably not going to be the guy
They'll
who
come
takes
out
it.
throwing here to start the drive. And he's got the hook up to Landry. They'll get him to the ground at the 20, following a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6. And he'll go right back to Landry. It's complete again. Touchdown, Saints. Jarvis Landry, a 20-yard touchdown.
3 consecutive touchdowns combined. Wait, what? Pollard? Yeah, slight fracture of his, an avulsion fraction of his tibia, but it shouldn't take that long to recover from.
Yeah, remember these guys actually coming off the couch and top of their shit.
No, understand.
They get hurt.
The ball upright on the tee, and the Saints kick team moves it away. Take it in at the 3. Ready to go on offense. Out come the Bengals. Remember, they have won 3 straight. Beginning of 4 straight does not appear to be in the cards as they are in a big fourth quarter hole.
Yeah.
It can be something simple.
Burrow and the Bengals with a 1st and 10 at their own 18.
Yeah.
They'll try and start this drive.
Perfect example. If we both had a tibia fracture, it would be different. It would be harder for you to recover than it would be for me.
He'll be taken down, but not before he gets this football out shy of the 30 to the 29. They will throw on 1st down with Burrow. And now here's another interception. Picked up by Justin Evans.
Yeah.
To be frank, CD, this is getting tough to watch. I mean, you feel for him.
No.
6 interceptions.
I still think Miami is better.
Not a good look.
It makes it tougher and tougher to come up with ways to try and support him. But you have to as a team because you can't just throw your quarterback aside. You're going to need him later on. But it reminds me of a time that a former defense coordinator of mine told me he was in a game.
No, I
his
agree.
quarterback threw 7 interceptions. So after the 6-1, one of the defensive players went to the quarterback and said, here's what you do. Throw the ball to the other team, and let's see if our receivers can pick it off and turn it into a completion.
That's just mean. I don't know that I'd go down there and say that to him right now. Probably pretty frustrating. Here we go on 2nd
Why?
and 12. He finds his man. It's Baker. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25. And they're going to speed things up.
But my Oklahoma City gonna swept them, so.
3rd and short, they'll try.
Because we know how to defend Jokic. We know how to stop him with Kendrick Williams and Jalen Williams. We double team them like most of the time we play them.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Back to throw again. Throw left side complete. That's Baker. And they're going to be set up now with the ball at the 13-yard line. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Saints football as we get you reset. And the scoreboard on their side, they're just looking to melt away these final couple of minutes and put this one in the left-hand column. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. They'll get this out to Kamara. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. Again, he'll drop to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. A 4th quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
They're ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This one fielded at the 5. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. Now the Cincinnati offense ready to see what they can do here. Where we stand right now in the fourth quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game.
I'm
But
just surprised at the fact that you of all people think
they've had several
that the
turnovers.
Bengals are
You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play.
either go to the divisional round, and then go to the conference championship game.
Throwing now, Burrow on first down. He completes it to Boyd. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in this football game.
That would be hilarious.
Again, it's Burrow. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away.
Still outranked.
We've talked about it, CD, but it bears repeating. They are struggling to throw the football. All the interceptions and more incompletions. It just doesn't look like things are in sync out there.
I would agree with that, and it's not a good day when you feel like an incomplete pass is almost a win for you because it wasn't intercepted. I think the receivers now, when they're running their routes, they want to catch the ball, but they also want to make sure that the defenders don't take it away.
Are you serious?
First down, here's Burrow. That is taken in by Hurst.
Come on, how do you let Hayden
Hurst? Now the Bengals going to signal for their third and final timeout as he'll stop it with 11 seconds remaining in the ball game. Now Burrow on first down. And this is incomplete.
I'm literally holding the button.
He had 6 points right in his hands, but could not hang on. A final shot now for Burrow. And this is going to be intercepted. P.J. Williams with a pick. And the Saints come up with a late turnover, but it will probably only matter to the statisticians as this ball game is now officially over. Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the time as this one ends, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win, but boy, their offense was on fire in this ball game.
And Paul, I have no idea what the top speed is of all those high-end sports cars. What's the top gear you can get into? This offense.
Huh, got to my regular season's goal. Nice.